Hi neighbors, welcome to the March 2024 How's the Market Update with Mr. Rogers. Got a ton of thoughts to share with you on what's going on both locally and just big picture in the real estate market right now. Let's jump in. So one of the main things a lot of people in the real estate industry were saying at the beginning of the year was, with 2 consecutive years behind us of about 20% decrease in amount of business going on, the thing that a lot of people were rooting for to bring back the amount of business was for rates to begin to go down this year. In fact, a lot of people, the majority of people I was listening to were predicting that we might be touching the 5s by the middle of the year. And that was going to be the thing that brought a lot of people back into the market on the buyer side, demand side of things. Well, that has not been the case. Rates have remained pretty stubborn. We're still hovering around 7% on average. But the surprise is that has not hindered a lot of people from coming back to the market. In fact, I really think that we're going to see a year-over-year increase in amount of transactions from the previous year, which will reverse the trend going back at least 2 years. And I think that is due to the fact that the general population is coming to understand that rates are what they are. 2%, 3% was artificially low and probably not going to see it potentially ever again. These rates today are pretty historically normal, and a lot of people have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for rates to go down and passing up on opportunities, passing up on a better house, passing up on making a big life change. And I think they're just tired of waiting, and they're coming to terms with what their budget is given the current cost of borrowing money. And a lot of people are coming into the market. So seeing number of transactions increase, here's another thought. While we are seeing a number of transactions increase, number of listings coming on the market, we're also seeing demand follow along behind. And so while amount of inventory is slowly going up, it's going up very slowly. So demand is following the amount of listings coming on the market, and that's keeping inventory about the same. Let's take a look at the past year of inventory in Jefferson County. You can see this time last year we were under 1.8 months of inventory, and now we're just over 2 months of inventory. Not a huge change, a little bit of change. If we go back another year, you can see that cycle. So we usually hit a peak of inventory as the winter approaches, and we've seen that the last 3 years. Actually, March 2022, we were just over 1 month of inventory. And then going back 3 years, you can see that we've slowly but surely made some progress in the amount of inventory available. So, and that is again with 20% less business in 2022 and 2023. And now we're really seeing a resurgence of demand. Looking at Shelby County, so slight increase year over year. We were just over 1.5 months of inventory, and now we're just over 2 months. So a little bit of a change, but if you look back 2 years and then 3 years, you see the same trend. We were under 1 month of inventory March of 2022, and now we are more than double that. And if you look back 3 years, you can see the overall trend increased just a little bit. Really, from 21 to 22, we got no improvement. We got no relief on inventory. So we're finally seeing that trend continue. I think we'll see it continue over the next year. Now, here's another thing. It's interesting to see such a fast-paced market with more listings coming on, but also them going under contract at about the same rate. So inventory remaining low. We're still seeing a lot of the buyer market aspect of things go on, such as buyers being able to negotiate closing costs. In several of our markets, the average sales price to list price ratio is under 100%. So we'll jump into our specific numbers here locally. In Birmingham, downtown Birmingham market, and also the Homewood market, the sales to list price ratio was 97% and 98%. So, I mean, that shows you buyers being able to negotiate more. I'm also seeing, closing costs being negotiated. I'm seeing sellers more willing to negotiate repairs, and I think that's just the remaining effects of seeing the market slow down so rapidly, so quickly. There's a lot of sellers who are much more willing to do what they need to get their property sold. Now, here's some interesting numbers. In Mountain Brook, Vestavia, and Hoover, we're seeing a massive increase in median sold price per square foot. In Hoover, 18% increase year over year. Vestavia, Liberty Park, 21% increase year over year. Mountain Brook, 25% increase year over year. Downtown Birmingham, 3% increase year over year. Homewood actually showing a negative 13% decrease in dollars per square foot on sold properties. But across the board, and in those, Liberty Park and Hoover are much bigger markets than downtown Birmingham or Homewood. So a lot of those transactions taking place, and we're seeing a lot of price appreciation. Really good sign. In terms of number of sales, in Hoover, 30% increase year over year, more business being done. Vestavia Hills, 57% increase in number of transactions year over year. Mountain Brook, 37% increase in transactions year over year. And then downtown Birmingham and Homewood have to be the outliers right now. They're down 8% and 10% in amount of business happening year over year. So those are some of the numbers that we're seeing. Lastly, I'll wrap up just by saying that, surprise, life is still happening. Families are still growing. Couples are still downsizing, becoming empty nesters. People are still getting married, finding new jobs, having issues with their property that needs to be addressed. Life is still happening, and we're working with a lot of those people. A cool thing to see is for those who have owned their home over the last 4 to 5 years, they've been a recipient of that record high appreciation going back to 2019, 2020, 2021, and most of 2022. And so the people who have been homeowners for those years have a ton of equity to face these life changes. So when it comes to paying off debt, when it comes to finding a bigger house, transitioning and making a big move, when it comes to doing necessary repairs that you may not have thought you could afford, or even when it comes to investing in real estate, rental property, flipping a house, just capitalizing on an opportunity, these homeowners are finding that they have way more equity than they knew they did if they haven't looked at their value in the last 4 to 5 years. So it's a very healthy market, a lot of equity for the average homeowner. Actually, a big percentage of homeowners own their home free and clear, and then the next big percentage have more than 50% equity in their house. So we've got a very stable market. It's a kind of a bipolar market though. We're seeing a lot of the seller's market aspects and a lot of the buyer's market aspects, and it seems like it's changing just about every month. But I hope that's some good insights on what's happening here in Birmingham. If you have any questions, if you want some numbers about your particular neighborhood, I'd be happy to chat with you. Just send us a message. I appreciate you listening, and we'll talk again next month.